guys? Jaime Rodriguez here at the House of Color booth 2010. We're here with a legend when it comes to custom painting. You guys all know his name? John Kosmoski. Nice to see you.
Good to be seen.
Great. We're featuring, Sema here, having a great time. We're just interviewing all the folks. Anything you'd like to talk about here at the House of Color booth and some of the features here?
We're kind of excited about the Sherman Tunes because it opens the door to keep solvent in the lineup. We don't have to go to water to maintain the VOC problems that we're fighting in California. And the stuff works great. I know Craig has worked with it. I've worked with it quite a bit. We still have little things on the real hot weather. It doesn't seem to work as well as we'd like it. But we're going to fix that. But great stuff to keep us legal. I mean, you know, custom painting was going to die if we had to go to water.
Oh, I hear you.
How would you do a job like this deep candy apple job behind you here with waterborne?
So House of Color saving the day pretty much.
We think that we're going to turn the way Nick Dahl puts it, our leader, our fearless leader, he said, you know, everybody used to stay within a certain box. You can put the box away. There is no box anymore. We've opened the door to thousands of combinations of new colors. If you got a little creativity in your body and you want to do something unique, we estimate that the combinations go over 25,000 different colors that can be made.
That's impressive.
So
that's a wide array.
Off the wall.
Everyone else is consolidating and getting smaller. House Color just opened the door and made it wider.
It's maximizing.
Exactly.
That's great. For the viewing audience out there that really don't know John Kosmoski, would you mind telling them a little bit about yourself?
Well, I got into the business right out of high school in 1956. And just to tell you how progressive I was back then, I had a 40 Chev Club Coupe with a 56 Chev V8 power pack in it. The second transplant in the state of Minnesota. I live in Minneapolis.
That's impressive.
So I'm a futurist. So I'm always looking for the latest and the newest and the best. And when we say, we picked the Scarab logo because Ra, the Scarab was known as Ra, the sun god. I thought, there's no better animal out there to show off our paint than Ra, the sun god. And particularly it was known to have everlasting life. The Egyptians thought it would go into the sand and it would come up the next day and live another lifetime. What they didn't know was it laid an egg and died, and then the new one would come up full size. They thought it was the same beetle.
Interesting.
So I thought,
that.
I want to build paint that has everlasting life, so that was my logo. That's where the Scarab came from.
So you started painting how long ago?
1956. Yeah, I started painting helmets and started painting motorcycle gas tanks for friends. And then it grew, and then Honda brought their motorcycles over. Well, you could get it any color you wanted as long as it was mouse gray. So I went into the dealerships and I said, hey, why don't you give me a set of parts and let's paint one up and see what happens. It wasn't on their floor 5 minutes. The first guy that walked in bought it. Well, then I started exploding. I mean, I had to have help. I'm painting all these motorcycle parts. I used to do an average of 600 to 700 motorcycles from November to April every year during the winter. So we were the first on-the-street commercial shop that was actually catering to the biker. And then, of course, that grew to hot rods, and that grew to customs and candy painting, I mean, I can't say I invented candy. I like to say I perfected it. Joe Balian invented it back in 1953, 54. But I took the formulations that were used back then, like the N83, DuPont, the DML31 Ditzler made Wild Cherry, and I took all that and I thought there's got to be a better way to do this. The nitros were dying because the stuff would crack out, so we needed to go to an acrylic that had flexibility.
Absolutely.
So we were the first company to build lacquer acrylic that didn't crack, that you could put on a 10, 12, 15 mil paint job and it would last. Part of that secret was our primer, and now of course we're doing the same thing. This job has 3 coats of base, 7 coats of candy, 5 coats of clear, and if it doesn't last 25 years, there's something wrong. It's going to last 25 years.
It must be nice to really pioneer the custom paint industry.
Well, we pioneered the base coat, clear coat, and custom. We did that in 1982. We introduced. That's where the Shermans were first introduced. So Sherman 2 is the second generation of base coat, clear coat.
That's fantastic.
And it allows the formulator to play around and do what he wants, to come up with something that's one of a kind that he can put his own name on.
So they have total control.
It's your color, baby, whatever you want to call it.
That's fantastic. That's great. So we don't get limited at all. We have full
not at
control.
all. Craig's had a lot of fun playing with it too. He's excited about the range and how it's improved. And then to be legal in the worst market in the basin in Southern California, the rule right now is 3.4 VOC, 3.4 pounds of volatile organic compounds per gallon. We're 2.8. With
so
solvent.
under it, not just barely, you're under.
We're way
quite
under.
a bit.
They're actually under quite a few of the waterborne systems solvents out there because the water.
We're under the water.
Yeah, because the waters actually have solvents because of the clears, and so
And the performance is even better.
Even better.
I think it's what if you talk to Ron Finch, who did the bike behind you with all the spindly stuff, he said it's faster. It's faster than the old Shermans.
Wow.
And I do agree with that. It is faster.
That's great. That's great. So what is John Kosmoski doing these days?
I'm teaching, so I travel the world. I candied last summer. I candied 3 cars over in Australia. I mean, complete cars with groups of people there to see how we go about it. You know, what it takes to do a true candy job and do it right. So I continue to do the teaching, and I'm working in the lab on a lot of new products and new ideas, and helping tweak the products that come out of the lab. You know, make them right.
You know, it must be nice to see the beginning and what it is now. It constantly
there's
evolving.
been a lot of water over the dam, my son. You know,
or under the bridge, or whatever.
Yeah, however it goes.
He started the company that's actually manufacturing paints over 50 years ago, and the fact that he's still in the lab, still in the booth, still creating. I mean, if you look at the roaster right over here next to him, he spent the last 7 months building it. He built it, painted it. I mean,
I did everything. I did all the engineering.
This is your baby right here.
Well, I mean, it's the latest.
His latest baby.
And one of many, huh?
Yeah. I'm building hot rods. You know, I like it. It's fun. It's fun. Well, I like the engineering part and making it work. I mean, everything on that car works. The windshield wipers, the defrosters, the air conditioning. I mean, everything works. You know, I mean, it's not just do it. It's do it and make it work.
That's great. Where do you get the most gratification out of the product? What do you like seeing? You know, the artist do the airbrush,
there's nothing better than the finished job.
That's it.
You know, I tell somebody, you take something that's ugly and you make a thing of beauty out of it, or a piece of art out of it, and if that doesn't swell your chest, I don't know what does, because you can look back and say, I did that.
Oh, definitely. Fantastic.
And that's why we encourage the young to get involved, because it gives you such a warm feeling, you know, warm, fuzzy feeling inside that you took that from ground zero and brought it to where it is
It's
today.
empowering, and to see that
very,
is
very
fantastic.
much empowering. Yes, that's a good word.
So, how do we get in touch with taking a John Kosmoski class? Is there a website?
I travel the country, and I think they do put it on the website of what places and where I'm going to be. Generally, they're sponsored by the local jobber store or the local warehouse.
Okay.
So they are the ones that control who comes, kind of. I mean, who they want to tell. Let's put it that way. Because you don't want more than 100 people, because then something's lost.
Yeah,
You know,
definitely.
they're not afraid to ask questions. We want the questions.
That's a good idea.
That's how you learn.
Great.
You know, the only stupid question is the one that you don't ask.
Have you done any of the new classes yet for Sherman Tunes?
No, that's what's coming up. This year I'm going to be doing tons of the new classes on the Sherman Tunes.
Well, speaking of youth and empowering, what would you like to share with the viewing audience so they can move forward with airbrushing or custom paint? What are some of the rules that they can carry with them
Well,
to
the
be
most
successful?
important rule is to gain enough basic knowledge to eliminate the fear of moving forward. In other words, there's more fear in people's hearts because they don't understand what to do or how to go about it. And anything we can do to, like you say, empower them to have a feeling that they're going in the right direction. I mean, that's why I went to Dunwoody, because I didn't know how to adjust a paint gun. I didn't know how to handle an airbrush or any of those types of things. You need guys like Craig and others that are experienced painters and that will help you get over the humps. And then the rest is up to you. Once you've got the basics down as this is how the equipment works and this is what I need to do this, then it all comes to you. It's all laid out for you to do whatever you want to do, whatever your heart says, I think this is cool. And it's great if somebody else agrees with you or if somebody else tells you that that's trash. You know, I mean, let's face it, Van Gogh and some of the other guys were criticized during their whole life. They became famous only when they died.
Yeah,
we hope that can happen to others before that time.
I hear you.
Before the lights go out, you know. But get over the fear of it. And you're going to make mistakes. And don't let a mistake stop you. I mean, so many guys, I can't custom paint. Everything goes wrong. Well, what does that tell me about what kind of thinking you've done, what kind of education you've done to understand how to do these things and eliminate these ones? You're never going to stop them. But if you can eliminate the big ones, you'll keep moving forward. And learn by the mistakes. That's the other thing. Scratch the gray matter when something goes wrong. And a lot of times you'll blame yourself. Go to your jobber store or go to your mentor and say, here's what happened. Tell them the truth. Find out why it happened so it doesn't happen again.
Yeah, get the truth out.
Yeah.
That's good.
You know,
so
learn by the mistakes.
Good foundation, not being scared to try new things. And
learn by the mistakes.
Fantastic. Well, hey, John, it's a great
on a slice of heaven, man, as always.
Definitely.
Nice to see you.
Good to meet you. Until next time, guys, we got more coming. All right, thanks a lot.
Yeah,
Appreciate that.
Oh, thank you.